We're here to idea everyone, to fire up your curiosity and connect you with the people and ideas that shape our world. Watch, listen, understand, connect, create. Let's move the human story forward together.
Hello and welcome to The Poetry of Science, a podcast which provides insight into new scientific research via the medium of poetry. I'm your host, Dr. Sam Illingworth, and each week I'll be introducing you to some of the latest scientific findings and sharing a selection of science-themed poetry. After all, we could all do with a little bit more poetry in our lives. In this episode, I'll be exploring new research which has found that lianas are more likely to infest smaller trees in Southeast Asian forests. Elongated fingers creep from forest floors, searching for support to climb and sheave and choke. Structural parasites that crisscross the canopies in concurrent plans of stifling ease. Carried between crowns, these sylvan squatters surround the smallest of trees, stunting growth and space and breath. This poem is inspired by recent research published in the Journal of Ecology, which has found that vines and climbing plants are more likely to infest smaller trees in Southeast Asian forests, with significant implications for global carbon storage and climate change. Lianas, also known as vines, climbing plants or climbers, are plants with long, flexible climbing stems that are rooted in the ground and that usually have long dangling branches. To climb, they have developed a wide range of strategies to affix themselves to the supporting structures. Lianas are commonly found in rainforests where they compete intensely with trees for light, nutrients and water, and previous research has found that this can slow tree growth and even kill trees. As a result, lianas can dramatically reduce carbon uptake and storage in tropical forests, thereby having a potentially significant impact on climate change. Such research had also focused mostly on neotropical forests, i.e. those located in Central America, the Caribbean and South America, where taller trees have been found to be more often and more heavily invested by lianas than shorter trees. In this new study, researchers have instead looked at forests in Southeast Asia, forests that tend to be home to much larger trees with significantly higher above-ground biomass than neotropical forests. By focusing on the Danam Valley in Malaysia and using ground surveys combined with a drone and laser scanner to create a 3D model of the area, the researchers found that taller trees in this forest were less often and less heavily infested by lianas than shorter trees, which is opposite to the well-established neotropical finding. This research thereby highlights the need for additional studies in other regions to clarify potential differences in the behaviour of lianas, enabling us to better understand their impacts on tropical forest ecology, carbon storage, and climate change. Now that you've heard the science, let me read the poem to you again. Elongated fingers creep from forest floors, searching for support to climb and sheave and choke. Structural parasites that crisscross the canopies in concurrent plans of stifling ease. Carried between crowns, these sylvan squatters surround the smallest of trees, stunting growth and space and breath. In this section of the podcast, I'd like to share a poem written by another poet on a topic related to the science that has been discussed so far. In this episode, I'll be reading Vine in Early Spring by Sarah van Alstan-Allen. Sarah van Alstan-Allen was a mid-20th century American poet who graduated from Puma College in California. Her poetry has appeared in The New Yorker, The Yale Review, The Lyric, and other magazines. Vine in Early Spring by Sarah van Alstan-Allen. The ivy traced upon the wall is the colour of smoke, the colour of the tree shell when the foliage and fruit are gone under the cross-marching lines. Is the vine awake? Here is the map of the year before us, the great dim rivers flowing, the highways where the leaves will pass, the western states are here, torn with the first ploughing. And to the south, the vast ocean into which the rivers empty pours with a ripple of green over the brown, to warn travellers of strange currents, to show where distant islands lie. The map hung here upon the wall, even as we watch, defines new land. The thin boundaries move and swell, and the bud claims a far outpost, open to exploration by wind and sun. Thank you for listening to the Poetry of Science.
Thank you very much for being with us for this episode of the ideaXme show. ideaXme is a global platform. Our mission is to move the human story forward by sharing knowledge of the future. You can find us on all major audio networks at www.radioideaXme.com, on YouTube and Vimeo. Please subscribe.